Alrighty, let's get to this. This is going to be my coolant upgrade. This is going to be all new components going on my STI. This is just kind of a journey. We're not doing a how-to. Just kind of documenting everything as I go. Since I have some sort of content to make, I might as well make it. So I'm going to jump the camera and I'm going to go over all of this with you, and we will kind of go over generalization of everything real quick and some information. Alrighty, so we got camera set up. We're going to go over all of this. These are your OEM hardware here. This is the Koyo aluminum radiator. I've got distilled water and I have coolant. We're going to go to the elephant in the room right here, and this is Honda. So this coolant is actually made by CCI Industries, and CCI Industries also makes Subaru's coolant. It's the same blue coolant you would get with super coolant from Subaru, except Honda is much cheaper. If I have it, I'll post the MSDS on the actual chemical components in it, and you can kind of see it's similar. Then we have our Koyo. This is, I'll unbox it here in a little while. It's a polished aluminum radiator. I will be painting the top tank black. I do not like the polished aluminum look. Going to go over here. We have our upper radiator hose, our lower radiator hose, our lower brackets. We have our isolators for the lower, isolators for the upper. We have our upper brackets. We have brand new hose clamps for upper and lower hoses. This is the other one as well. And then we have all new bolts and hardware. We also have radiator packing. This is something people leave out. This is the kind of that factory foam that they put between a radiator. It's a weird foam. It almost feels like silicone, but it goes between the radiator and the core support. It helps with airflow. And then we are also going to be putting on a cylinder 4. This is a cylinder number 4 mod. This is from Roger Clark Motorsports. Really nice piece, all billet, actually really cheap for the cost. And then all this coolant, or water. The water is for flushing it. Whoever in the past put green coolant in this, and I don't know if it's universal coolant, so we are just going to flush it all out and replace it with blue. So I guess I'll get to draining it. Oh, and this. I also have this. This is my heat shield, skid plate. This is extremely thick aluminum. Always run one of these. These will actually help a lot with cooling, because you don't have the air going up in between the radiator and the engine and causing like a vortex. You have steady flow of air in through the grill, through the radiator, and under the car. There's no vortexing in there and causing heating issues. We have it on wheel cribs. If you don't know what these are wheel cribs right here. These are about 7.5 inch wheel cribs. Just made out of 2x4. I have my pan underneath it. There's some critters dangling, spider webs. I guess over the weekend they decided to make a nest under here. But we're going to drain the coolant out of it and then put water in it. And then we're going to run the car. I'm going to let it cool down for about an hour or so. And then I will drain the water out of it again. And then we're going to rinse and repeat that process a couple of times. We're probably going to just drain it once with water. So coolant, add water, drain the water out. Then after that, I'll probably start on the cylinder 4 mod. That way, when I do the next few rinses through with water, I can go ahead and rinse it out where I have to open up the block and put all of this on there, because I have to put the you have to put this fitting on the back side of the block itself. And so when you pull the factory fitting out, it will get a lot of debris everywhere that you have to clean. So I'm going to put this in on my second flush. That way I can flush water through it again, and we can try to keep all the contaminant out of the cooling system. So I'm going to go ahead and drain it and start this process. Alrighty, so coolant drain number 1 through. Already bled. This is straight water going into it now. I've already bled it, ran the vehicle, and now I just have to drain this one out. And then after I drain this fluid out, I'm going to pull the intercooler off, and then we're going to go and try to aim for the cylinder 4 cooling mod. Alrighty, and here underneath the car on the driver's side, you can see that hex head right there. Right there. That one we break loose. It's a 12 millimeter. You just use a lengthy extension. There's plenty of videos on it. It goes right here, and then breaker bar and break it loose. It is gonna pour coolant, so I'm going to try and rig something up underneath it to catch it and drain it out in one piece, so I don't just coat my whole subframe in coolant and have to clean more stuff up later. Well, I got the plug out. As you guys can see, there it is. I made this contraption of using aluminum foil to create kind of a funnel so that way all the coolant would drain out of the block into my pan, but apparently I drained it good enough, there's no coolant coming out, so that's positive. Now we're gonna clean those threads, and we're gonna put this fitting in. All right, back at the front of the car here. We're gonna pull the stay brackets off. I got the radiator out. It's pretty easy to get a radiator out of these. You just hose, connector, and then disconnect the power steering hose and just turn it up and pull it on out. It's pretty easy. These are the stay brackets. As you can see, they're pretty rotten. They're not like terrible, but they're scaly. Actually, yeah, they're scaly. If you know anything about Subarus, these just tend to rot for some reason. I don't know why, but the rubber's pretty trashed in it too because it's all hardened. So we got the new ones here, and then I'm pulling the other one out. And then tech tip, if you're using a wrench in here, I'll give an example. Make sure, I'm using a long socket, but if you use a short one, you'll be fine. But make sure you go this way when you ratchet out. You don't want to go into your fins here. You want to go out. And if you do, you want to be very gentle coming back so you don't tap the wrench on the fins. And then we're going to get these out. Going to probably just hit this with a wire brush and then hit it with some rust converter. And then we'll put the new stay brackets in. These just tend to rust a lot on Subarus. I've had 3 now. I live in the South. And there's always rot right here on this little K-frame, K-member. And these just tend to go for some reason. Apparently they're very big on rotting out too, because when you buy a kit, they just come in a kit. So. All right, so I got everything painted down there. Wire brushed and then painted, so hopefully some rust protection. I'm gonna go ahead and put the brackets in, and we're gonna go ahead and put the radiator in. Got it pre-installed over here, so everything's already bolted up. And we're gonna drop her on in. Oh, new brackets are in. As you can see, new hardware, new brackets. They're in. Looking nice and clean now. What's up, guys? So a few days after the original video, I've kind of just pedaled on this a little bit. I've got work and other stuff to do. I work 55 hours a week, which isn't much to some people, but it's a lot to try and work on cars. So 4th of July just happened, so my floor's a mess because my tables, except for this one, got robbed for 4th of July, so I had to put everything on the floor. But the update, you guys have probably seen a few little updates here and there. We have the radiator in. Koyo Rad, we have the new hoses, new stay brackets, new isolators, new lower stay brackets and isolators. I also put the OEM foam. You can really see it, but there's foam in between the radiator and the core support. Kind of see it right there. And then upper foam and lower foam from the factory. And then we put the cylinder 4 mod in. I haven't recorded anything about that. So the Roger Clark one, the Roger Clark is great. Very high quality. Recommend it to anybody with a right-hand drive car. The problem I can see is Roger Clark is mostly based with right-hand drive or England. the UK really. And this being left-hand drive, the steering shaft is right there, so their hoses are just a little too long and hit the steering shaft. So I'm gonna have to go back underneath there, cut the hose down a little bit, and make sure everything looks good before I finish it. It's all on. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I want to make sure it's actually going to stay and not rub my rack. But apart from that, everything up here is done. I've got my DefiLink sensor in. It's all tucked underneath here. It runs underneath the stay bracket, and then there's the plug. And then I have the harness running through the car. Other than that, I mean, we're almost good to go, and just start draining and filling it a few more times and get all the contaminants from opening the block and the radiator out. I do have new PCV hoses, so I might go ahead and pop those on while I'm here. I hate pulling the intercooler off this thing all the time. Yeah, we'll update for you guys. I'll probably crawl underneath and kind of show you what I mean. Alright, so being underneath the car, you can kind of see it. See how close it is to the rack. The way it's set in there. I know that light is just bright, but you can see it's pretty close. So if this jiggles, it will touch the rack. So we're gonna cut this hose right here down, and then that brightness is so bright, it's like dimming the like dimming the phone. So this one right here, we're gonna probably cut a smidge out of it. And then the way the Roger Clark one works is the T, you put this fitting on the return for the heater core, and then you plug the original hose into the T. There's no cutting necessary. But because this needs to be shortened and move forward, we're probably going to cut the heater hose and eliminate the piece that they provide. And then we're just going to tee it in like you would with a Get a Dom tune. And this would work on a UK car because there's really nothing here, or a right-hand drive car. But since we have the steering shaft, it makes things a little bit more complicated. So there's no instructions for the Roger Clark kit, and there's no installation videos really out there. But just kind of giving anybody a general idea of how to set this up.